Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show with me, Paul Wheels, founder of IoT North. Today we're going to be having a chat about AI. What is artificial intelligence? And we've got Tom Allen from the AI Journal. First of all, what is the Breakfast Club and what is IoT North? We are a community-founded service and website where we have a marketplace for you to promote your IoT solutions. We have a forum for you to join, connect, learn about IoT and all the elements of it. And connect as well. We've got a partner area there as well. If you're looking for partners to work with, then jump onto the forum, register. A very simple form to do. Just tap topic, and you can then start to register and ask the community for help. And we all need to help scale here, especially in the current climate. So let's jump into today's show with Tom Allen from the AI Journal. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Hey, we've been chatting for a little while now on LinkedIn. It's been great to connect. One of my favorite tools, LinkedIn, to be fair. I've made so many new friends there recently. It's been absolutely brilliant. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your journey and the AI Journal?
Yeah, so thank you. And it's great to be here with everyone this morning. And AI Journal is a free education hub where you can learn about everything to do with AI and emerging technology. Set it up just a bit over a year ago. And so far, so good, with a lot of traction. And it's an open source hub. So if you have opinions on the topics, if you have opinions on anything from automation through to IoT, through to intelligent automation, right through to autonomous driving, that's the place to go. And that's what we're trying to build. So everything's accessible. It's quite a tricky topic at times. And this really makes it quite an easy access hub where you can learn from the pros, because I'm not the pro, and we always bring people from different sectors to show you what's going on in the current world and the current climate.
That's excellent. So it's really a place for great thought leadership and insight in AI, artificial intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've had a good look through it a couple of times and actually picked up some stuff from there as well. It's really good. I think one of the good starting points is helping people understand what AI is. So in your view, what is artificial intelligence?
Yeah, well, it's a good one, Paul, isn't it? Because if I asked you and said, what's artificial intelligence, I'm sure we'd probably have two different definitions. And when I get asked this question and when I'm on panels with people, and just through the nature of the website AI Journal, I must have heard dozens and dozens of different definitions. But to me, when people look at AI in its simplest form or way of describing it, it's mimicking human intelligence. So replicating what a human can do, but at a very basic level. I mean, you've got AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which can mimic human interaction. So things like cutting hair or making spreadsheets from scratch. But AI itself is really applying what intelligence you have to something such as a data set, and using maybe machine learning or deep learning, a subset of these two areas, to do things at a much more rapid rate, a much quicker rate, which is where you get the benefits of quicker efficiency, lower cost, or less resources needed on a project.
Yeah. So what are the areas that you're seeing are being used in today? I mean, just to give an example, I was running a hack with Intel and AD-Link, my employer, and we were running a hack to find solutions using computer vision, artificial intelligence, edge computing to fix industrial problems. And getting the artificial intelligence running at the edge and to make it much leaner, less impact with latency and bandwidth issues. And we had a phenomenal return. A company, Bravant, Sergio, won an absolutely amazing thing he's done. What other areas are you seeing, beyond computer vision, which is my sweet spot, but in your experience, it's a much wider scope. Where are you seeing it being used?
So there's loads of places, and I mean, the topics you touched on are some of my hot points. And maybe I can ask you this, Paul. Maybe give me an industry, and we can look at that, because there's so many topics. I mean, education. If you want to look in healthcare, it's being used for so many different ranges. And we've got a free report people can download on it, from using precision robotics to training that model, right through to understanding data sets to say how many people are on a ward, how many people are needed for that area, and then you could switch gears and look at something like energy and gas, where how much energy is being spent across distribution. I mean, look at what happened with Texas with the power shortage. AI is going to be massively beneficial there, because you can read where the power sources are going, and you can see where it's being distributed, and you can understand data sets. Just such intelligence that once you start learning data sets and learning them quicker, you can make better outcomes. And for finance, I mean, you're seeing it with robo advisors.
Yeah.
A lot of the hype around cryptocurrency at the moment, Paul.
Yep.
So a lot of market trading, and you can see where the panic can come in. I think we're going to touch on that in a little bit, but it's really, as part of our mission, is to say it's there to help. Because if you look at finance or insurance, big sectors that I can't see ever going away. No matter how advanced we get, you're always going to need insurance for your home, for your car, whatever it is. And these models, AI models, can just say, how reliable is this person that we can lend money to, or we can insure them, or what's their background? And you can provide all these data sets to a company. It will learn all of them, and it will give you the best outcome. So effectively, you can get the best rate. So you can get the best insurance, or you can get the best investment deal, which is things like robo advisors. So they're taken over from individual investors that might be in investment funds, because they work 24 hours, 7 days a week. They don't need holiday. They don't get downtime. They don't burn out. And I mean, if you look at any industry, it's being applied anywhere. Look at your phone. Hey Siri, hey Alexa. That's NLP. That's speech recognition, going to tracking what you're saying so they can pick up what you need and then recommend things to you. Spotify, if you use that, it will be learning what kind of patterns you like. YouTube, which I'm a big fan of YouTube Premium over Spotify. I don't know how people feel about that, but they can understand your patterns, and that's effectively what it can do. It can just really give you a much better customer experience. So it's not just within industries, but it's in also sectors that affect every industry, such as marketing, customer experience, HR, personnel, training and development, to get you the best people or to get you the best outcomes. Or, I mean, if you just quickly look at marketing, you can use it for so many things. Forbes are using it to write copy for their own topics. And you can look at places such as for a company called Adverity, lower your ad spend, lower your cost, and it can understand and track who's the best person. So, I mean, there's loads of different ways, and I encourage any of the audience and you, Paul, if anyone wants any more topics, we've got loads of resources to share afterwards, because it's just, to me, AI is everything, and it's becoming more and more within anything as well, especially as we become more advanced.
Yeah, and I think we're so from my view and experience with it, it's only been the past couple of years that I've really been getting quite embedded with it. Is that we're at the teaching part of it, teaching the models, so then it can start to get to the machine learning side of things, that it starts to teach itself. It's a really exciting thing that when you start to see it happening, it's absolutely brilliant. And we'll touch on it in a question soon, but there are some, as you touched on, there is some fear from it. People do think, oh my God, I used to do a presentation a couple of years ago at meetups and stuff, and I used to start off with the Terminator music and the picture of Terminator, and I find it absolutely amazing that from the early 80s, with object detection for using a camera for artificial intelligence, we are doing exactly what we did in Terminator. It's with word on and the percentage of what it is, which I find absolutely mind blowing. I think somebody having a freaking joke when they set that up as the thing, as what it would look like. Terminator, we'll do it like that. I think it's absolutely brilliant. There are fears around the adoption of IoT. One of the things I did last night was just a quick survey on LinkedIn to see when do you expect to see AI in your business. Interestingly, 50% said they were already using it. 1 to 3 years, 31%, 3 to 5 years, 19%. If you think about the technology that's out there and services that businesses use, like you mentioned in marketing and stuff like that, businesses are already using it. They just don't realize. And there's services out there that that they're paying for that they don't realize that actually there's artificial intelligence sat in the back of this that's enabling it. I know the Department of Work and Pensions. They use a service with a company called Word Nerds here from the Northeast, which is run by Pete Dayton, great guy. And they're using Word Nerds and sentiment and artificial intelligence to understand what people are talking about the services and finding the gaps in the services for the Department of Work and Pensions so they can be more efficient in turning things around. It's really interesting on how public sector are really wanting to adopt this stuff to do better for the public.
Good question, Paul. What do you think, just quickly, not to go too off topic, but with public sector adopting AI compared to private sector, it's a topic, I think, because public sector obviously have to be much more strict on their regulations and what they can do and what they can't do, I guess, compared to a private company, because there's a lot more legal. So how do you see that? How do you kind of see the adoption coming for the public sector compared to
I don't think I'm the best person to answer that. I know somebody very closely who is definitely the best person to speak to that. But from observation, I think it's the public sector are adopting new wave technologies way quicker than people think they can and do.
Yeah.
They will do proof of concepts. They will support startups like they did with Word Nerds, that if they can demonstrate value and do a quick trial to prove it, they will make the investment to if it delivers value. I was blown away when I started to see more of what my family worked in the HMRC and DWP. And I start to see the digital transformation and what they were doing, hiring people to teach them code because they realized there was a huge shortage, looking at innovative services that they can adopt to make things quicker and better, to give them more intelligence. I mean, agile working and, in their digital services, from experience of seeing them, is absolutely phenomenal. I think they're way ahead of most private businesses. They are way more innovative. And they're breaking down those barriers. They're much more fluid, and they've got huge resources. And if you think about what happened last year with COVID, a lot of help in being able to turn things around, when people were getting furloughed and stuff like that, how quick did they turn that service around? There was a very short little blip of people might have not got their money, but predominantly everybody got it. And that, if you imagine 5 years ago, I think there would have been a lot more firefights going on than what there was from last year,
100%.
So,
and I think, just cut in, that's a great point, Paul, because as you were saying, it really is, when you hear these terms like digital transformation and you hear AI and big data, cloud, which are in a sense buzzwords because people don't understand them to what degree, how they're integrated into a business. But I was speaking with a really great guy, Expert AI, the companies that they supply all sorts of companies with learning documents, scanning documents. And he was saying, really, when you use these terms, artificial intelligence or digital transformation is another one, all you need to do is break it down to what do you really want? And you touched on it just there, Paul. Quicker results. It can get things done quicker. It can give you a better customer experience, get those results to you quicker. And I think when you look at AI that way, instead of thinking this scary, buzzy word, it makes a lot more sense. It's really here to help you become more efficient, increase your bottom line or reduce your costs.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think that leads on quite nicely to the next question of, should we be concerned of the possibilities of artificial intelligence? You see a lot of press out there about, scary stuff with AI. Everybody knows the story. I was chatting with a colleague, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Yesterday, and, she brought the same story up that everybody talks about. Do you know which story that is and why you should be scared?
No,
the Facebook story. When they got when they implemented the artificial intelligence, got the two computers talking to each other, and within an hour, I believe it was now, it might have been quicker, they created their own language because it was more efficient than using English language, so they could monitor. So they end up turning the computers off because what they're talking about. Are they going to turn, So the fear factor kicked in, type of thing. I mean, that's super artificial intelligence, machine learning, if it's doing that and doing it that quick. I mean, pat on the back for the developers on that one. But what's your thoughts on the fear factor of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, it's a great question, Paul, because just through the nature of seeing what it can do across, because AI, as we touched on, it's in everything. It goes across all sectors, all businesses, and it really not upsets me, but it proves what we need to do. We need to educate people because AI is not to be feared. It's not to be scared. I mean, in the back of my head, AGI, which is maybe a topic for another discussion or another Monday morning meeting, coffee session, is artificial general intelligence, because that's where it can get really quite head on. And I mean, there's people like Nir Eyal, and other people that look at what AGI can do over time, and they say it won't be around for 100 years. And I don't believe that, because I reckon anything can happen within 5 years. Just look at the rate of adoption, look at how quickly we're going. But with AI, when people say they're scared of it, I think it's more they don't know much about it, in my opinion. And I don't know, it's a tricky one, because I could just tattle with them all day saying, obviously there's downsides and there's the ethics, which is the big point. I mean, the EU just came in with their regulations to try and stop it, such as facial recognition, seeing people on the streets and tracking people and personal privacy, which is AI because it can track detection models. And I mean, there's times where it's being wrongfully used. There's a great book called Weapons of Mass Destruction by Kathy O'Neill. Fantastic book that I'd recommend you read about big data. And that's all that ties into AI being used to read that data and read those data structures. And it just shows you it gives you probably about a dozen different examples from kids being able to get into certain colleges, schools spending so much to upgrade their schools, which just doesn't make sense, right through to people not getting lines of credit. So you can understand why there are bad areas around it. But at the same time, I think it's just a lot more people don't understand what it can do. So people get scared of it because, I mean, the big thing, Paul, the one that we probably both agree on most, is people saying it'll take my job, which I don't agree with. It enhances your job. It makes you better. It makes you quicker. It frees up a company's resources. And in maybe a bit harsh of a way, if you are quite just naturally, you're not as active as someone else in the company, maybe you are in the wrong company, because if they're going to be enabling AI and it can do your job to that degree, it's that's where it can be a problem. But I would say it excels us and encourages us to do more and make better decisions, make it quicker. So I wouldn't. I'm completely against the idea.
I mean, I agree with you, and I went through a phenomenal learning curve when I first joined AD-Link 2 years ago this month. And you know, we were doing machine learning and stuff for OT IT connectivity within manufacturing. And then I got introduced to the vision stuff we were doing, which we did like a pallet solution. And it's simply cameras above 4 pallets. It pulls the information from the ERP. You hold the box underneath, and it distributes which camera's which. You hold the box underneath, and this is where I think to give confidence in people that they shouldn't be scared of it. Is it only does what you teach it. You set parameters. It's on the model, so it's on you on what if you want to be scared of it or not. But as you were saying, this actually makes workers. You know, you hold the box, reads the label, reads the barcode, and it tells you if it's on the right pallet or not. If it's on the wrong pallet, flashes red, and flashes green on the right pallet, and put it on. Simple as that. And then it enables to log everything really smart and efficiently. But it makes the job much easier. Can you imagine the repetition of scanning with a hand scanner, scanning the pallet, scanning the box, looking to make sure it's right, and then putting it on? Can you imagine the repetition with that, where now you're just picking up the boxes, holding underneath, bosh, done. To the point we gamified it for Pallet Expo, what's it called, an expo in Vegas. We had a queue of people. We got 350 leads because people wanted to beat the clock using it when we were demoing it to them to win a $100 voucher. Only 5 people won, but we had loads of people lining up. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, on the education of adoption of artificial intelligence is it's here to make the job easier, just like the PC was in the early 80s when it was being rolled out across businesses. It was like, oh, it's going to take my job. No, it's going to give you a different job, or it's going to make your job easier. You know, there used to be rooms full of people typing on typewriters, and those jobs were distributed that actually they got more interesting jobs to do rather than just constantly typing like they used to in the typing pools, you know. So it's the evolution of technology that you know, we shouldn't be fearful of. And yes, I am sure there are people out there that are going to utilize it in the wrong way, but then that's when ethics and stuff come into effect that you know, shame on you, it's down on the person.
But I mean, at the same time, you see, like you did the hackathon, like the good thing around them, Paul, is people, and I've heard of companies hiring people of hackers so they can figure out how to use that as an innovation or a tool for good, or to spot certain areas, especially within fraud. They hire people to say, hack this system as hard as you can so we can teach our models or our algorithm, or we can change the code so we can find these loopholes. And I mean, a great example, a common example I always touch on is, and if the audience here hasn't seen it, Go, which you can watch for free on YouTube, around what's it, DeepMind, which now acquired by Google, learning the game of Go and how quickly. And they came out of it and they said it made them better. It made the game better because they became smarter. They became better quicker. It made it more enjoyable because now they had this AI software they could train against. And they all of a sudden you got people that are amateurs coming up into the pro leagues because it's they can, not that they can necessarily use it themselves, but they can watch the pros and you can become better. And like you touched on with logistics, the funny thing is, if we get things like Amazon next day delivery, how much riot do you think there would be, Paul, if we took Amazon next day delivery away? It would be crazy, and that is down to parts 100% to AI, because it's like you said, with machine vision, tracking parcels, RFID scanners, you can do returns quicker, you can get things through an automation solution quicker, and that all comes down to AI. And as soon as you take something away, which we're used to having, Paul, people would soon turn, I'm sure. So I would say embrace it would be my core message.
I think one of the interesting things as well, just as we wrap up here, because we've hit the 20-minute mark, that the interesting thing is a lot of people have the presumption, oh, the computers are already doing that, and they're right, but they don't understand that the tag artificial intelligence, AI, is actually what's the mechanics behind it. And as you say, you know, like if you mentioned like Prime with Amazon and how efficient that becomes and enables, people don't think of that as AI. It's Amazon. They don't think of Alexa as AI. If I said to my mum, like, you know, I gave her an Alexa, which she absolutely loves. But if I said to her, oh, that's AI, that's artificial intelligence, oh no, I saw a movie about that. That's, you know, so it's about the adoption thing, and actually, you know, there is obviously fear about everything. You know, there's the thing about cars and them making choices for you when they're in autopilot and all the rest of it. But it's down to us humans, because at the end of the day, we put the recipe in for it to then evolve and build. Next week's show is going to be a chat about art, using technology as art, and how that can change things in the real
NFTs,
world.
maybe?
Maybe we'll see. But Tom, absolute pleasure having you. Look forward to getting you on the show again and having a chat. And that's it for us today. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to be on a show, email info@iotnorth.uk. We'd love to have anybody on the show. Let's talk. These shows are to talk about anything, predominantly with technology, not just about IoT. But I can assure you I've always got a link with IoT somewhere with any conversation. And on that, Tom, thanks very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Paul.
Now, I'm not in the habit of taking orders from a machine.